Classes in memory of Jared Olchen, and today we're going to learn the Haftorah of Parshat Emor. And it's on page 1173. The Parsha of Emor speaks about the Kohens. The Haftorah also speaks about the Kohens. Just like last week, 1173, yeah? Just like last week it was from the book of Ezekiel, this Haftorah is also from the book of Ezekiel, who was a prophet, as we said last week, in Ne'ar Kvar. He was in the exile in Babylon. He, on one hand, inspired the Jews to move on and live a normal life in Babylon. On the other hand, he tried to explain to them that what happened, the destruction of the temple, is not just an accident. It's because the Jewish people didn't behave. That's why it happened. And therefore everyone should take a personal responsibility to change himself, because this will bring the coming of Moshiach. And in his book, he wrote also, describes the building of the final temple, of the third temple. Actually, what happened in the second temple, even if it was before the second temple, Maimonides decides that the second temple was built like the first temple, with some changes according to Ezekiel, but not completely according to Ezekiel. Now, in this Haftorah, he is speaking about the Kohens and the Levites, Bnei Tzadok, who came from the Tzadok family. What the Tzadok family?
They were the priestly line that allied with King David and then King Solomon.
Easy for him to say. Okay. In King David, what started, the king goes back and back and back and back. It's like no end to it. But we'll start with King David. King David, when he had two big Kohens, known Kohens, in his camp. Tzadok, and what was the name of the other guy? Aviatar. Very good. Right. Wow. And who was Aviatar? Aviasar? Who was he?
He was another, he was in favor of
yeah, but who is he coming
king.
From? You remember Eli? Eli.
Mm-hmm.
We all know about Eli. Mm-hmm. Eli had two sons, right? Hophni and Pinchas.
Right.
Hophni and Pinchas were not good guys, right? They were eating the meat and they taking them and they did this and they did a lot of... If you take the text the way the text is written, they would go to jail today probably. Hophni and Pinchas were killed. They took the Ark of the Covenant to the war, right? And they were killed in the war. What happened to the kids? The kids were... Later, what happened after the temple was destroyed in Shiloh? That was the story that the temple was... Where was the temple moved to? What was the next place the temple was?
No?
In Nov. Who were the Kohens in Nov? The grandchildren of Eli. Achimelech, right? What happened to Nov? King Saul was fighting King David, running after David, right? And David ran away, and he came to Nov.
Right.
And he asked from the high priest to help him.
Right.
And the high priest helped him. And Doeg, the Edomite, overheard the conversation. And he reported to Saul.
Right.
And what Saul did?
He went after.
Killed all the priests.
Yeah.
He killed all priesthood. It's such a terrible thing you cannot even realize. Like 75 people, something like 85 people. 85. Then the redeeming part of the story, why they deserve to die, is because God told Eli that the sentence will be erased, something like this. Means to say, because his two sons were not treating the people in the temple the right way, the women in the temple the right way, they don't deserve to continue. Then basically, how God allowed that Saul should kill the whole? Because that was already a punishment from before. One child survived the massacre. Aviatar. Now, King David felt guilty because of him, the whole Nov, the city of the Kohens, was destroyed. that Aviatar was close to him. And that was Aviatar, and Tzadok was close to him. And King David had a very colorful life with the revolutions against him. Who was the first one to rebel against him?
Absalom.
Absalom. And Absalom rebelled against David. Aviatar and Tzadok were on David's side. And they were running away with David. And Aviatar, I think, David wanted to ask something Hashem by the breastplate. And Aviatar did not get an answer. That King David understood right away. He told Tzadok, and Tzadok got an answer. That he understood right away that this is it. That Aviatar is out. God doesn't speak to him anymore. That he's not really, he's not material for being a high priest. Then he continued. He sent him to spy against of Absalom, and it was all good. He kept him around them, but it was already not the same. All life passed. Absalom rebelled right at the beginning, right? And what happened in the last part of his life? Who rebelled against King David?
Amnon?
No. It's Haftorah. Haftorah of Parshat Vaychi. We actually learned it. No, it's not Haftorah of Parshat Vaychi. No, it's Haftorah of Parshat Chayesor.
Yes, is it? That's just one, that Sheba got the commitment for Solomon.
Yeah.
Because David was dying.
Yeah, before David was dying, was a son
There was a son
Yes.
who wanted to crown himself
who wanted to
king.
crown himself as a king.
Yes.
What was his name?
Adonijah.
Adoniyahu. Very good. Adoniyahu.
Right.
On page 1069, Adoniyahu appointed himself as a king. And Nathan, number 1069, number 11. You want to read?
Then Nathan spoke to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, saying, Have you not heard that Adoniah, the son of Shiggith, reigns, and David, our Lord, does not know it? Now therefore let me give you counsel, that you may save your own life and the life of your son Solomon. Go in at once to King David, and say to him, Did you not swear, my lord the king, to your maidservant, saying, Indeed, Solomon your son will reign after me, and he will sit in my throne. Why then does Adoniah reign? Then while you are still talking with the king, I will come in after you and confirm your words.
Okay, before that, if you go one page before, number 7. Well, actually, from number 5, you want to read? Then Adoniah,
Then Adoniah, the son of Haggith,
page
exalted
1067.
himself, saying, I will be king.
One second, page 1067. Everybody has it? Okay, go ahead.
And he provided chariots and horsemen for himself and 50 men to run before him. His father had never grieved him, saying, Why have you done so? Moreover, he was a very good-looking man, and he was born next after Absalom. So he conferred with Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and with Abiatar, the priest, and they followed Adoniah and helped him.
Aviatar the priest followed Adoniah and continue.
But Sadok the priest, Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, and Natan the prophet, Shimi and Rei, and David's warriors were not with Adoniah.
That here started the whole thing. Aviatar went with Adoniah, and Tzadok stayed loyal to David. That Aviatar was with David throughout everything. He went through with him all the time. But when it came to the last few days of David, he joined the wrong camp. Why he joined the wrong camp? Because already by Absalom, David already saw that God doesn't speak to him, and he started to push him out. And he was not the high priest by David, whatever it meant at that time to be the high priest, because it was not temple really officially, but he was a high priest. It was Tzadok. That he felt by David he has no chance. Maybe by Adoniah, if he joins Adoniah and Adoniah becomes the king, he will become the high priest. And then by the end of the Haftorah, they mentioned it again. What happened? Who became later the king? Solomon. Then Solomon, he killed Adoniah, right? And he killed another few people who were with him. But Eviatar he didn't kill. He told Eviatar, you carried the ark of God in front of my father. You stood on my father's side in very hard times. And he kept him, he remembered the kindness of him. But he didn't kill him, but he sent him to a place, Anatot. Who was coming from Anatot? Which prophet is from Anatot? That's a Bible contest now.
Not Ezekiel.
Huh? Anatot, you know.
I mean, no.
Anatot. Not far from Jerusalem. It's written about a certain prophet is coming from Anatot. Huh? No. Jeremiah. Beautiful.
Good shit.
Jeremiah is coming from Anatot. I think Jeremiah was a Kohen, no?
Ezekiel was.
Ezekiel and Isaiah was a
But I don't know if he was.
Jeremiah was a Kohen. I'm almost sure. Yes. I think Jeremiah was a Kohen. Yeah. Yirmiyahu Kohen. Yeah. Jeremiah was a Kohen. I think it's from this descendants. In any case, Tzadok went on the right side. You know, it's all about in the last minute, to hold down the last minute, and every minute it all looks good in the other side, to stick out, to stand by your beliefs, no matter what. Even though it's so cool and it's so popular to go in the other direction, to hold on to it, that's real loyalty. That's the hardest time. You know, it's like the last part of the night is the hardest time to keep your eyes open. You already, it's everybody, you want to sleep. And if you're able to hold on, then you make it the whole night. Tzadok made it. And now, in the beginning of this chapter from Ezekiel, he speaks about the Kohens who were worshipping idols. That when they will build the next temple, the final temple, he says they will not be the one who offer sacrifices. They can be the custodians, but not offer sacrifices. Who is going to offer sacrifices? Bnei Tzadok, the son of Tzadok. These guys will be by me because they, not only because he was loyal to King David, here you need to understand Ezekiel is after the destruction of the first temple. It's 500 years after King David. The kids, the sons of Tzadok throughout the first temple, when it was, the first temple, the in thing to do was to worship idols. That was, everybody was a part of life. If you're a Chevra you worship idols. As today people have such a strong desire for money, that's the idol. People will do almost everything for money. People did almost everything for idol worshiping. It's not we cannot relate to even today. It's idol worshiping. It's stupid. What's wrong with you? There's a story about the Talmud. One of the rabbis, I think Rabbi Yehuda, I don't remember who it was. He says tomorrow we'll speak about our friend Jeroboam. Right? Yerovam ben Nevat, that he came to him in the night and told him, I'm your friend. I'm your friend, Yerovam. Yerovam came to him in the middle of the night. He started to show him that what he was teaching in yeshiva, he didn't know the laws. That he says, if you're such a great scholar, why were you worshiping idols? He told him, if you be in my time, you would be even a better job in worshiping idols. Then that was the culture. Idol worship, and the children of Tzadok never worshipped idols. Then the first Kohen and the first temple, the first high priest was on the children of Tzadok. The first Kohen and the second temple was also from the children of Tzadok. And the Kohen and the third temple, the high priest, will also be from the children of Tzadok. In general, it's accepted that the high priest throughout the temples were from the descendant of Tzadok.
Why did Ezekiel kind of get the call on that? Because the Bible never says, or at least Tanakh or Torah never says, the one group of priests over another.
You're right. Then that's normal that the prophets should.
That refine it a little bit, but
they go into more details if you want, because it was more practical. Also, it's interesting. Ezekiel was in Babylon. He speaks about the temple like in 5 minutes. They're going to Jerusalem to build a temple. He wanted to show to the Jews that building the temple is a reality. It's sitting in America, I don't know about a temple now. What temple? When temple? The temple just was destroyed. We are in Babylon, miles and miles away, hundreds of miles away from Jerusalem. But it was big, it made it reality. I mean, that's why he went and it. Now, the children of Tzadok alone is a descendants of whom? You go all the way to the top.
Aaron.
Aaron, yeah, but from where? Aaron had
Which
two
son?
sons.
Yeah, two
Elazar
sons
and
that
Itamar.
survived.
From which son is it Tzadok? From Elazar. When Elazar, who took over, who was the second high priest? Elazar. Aaron went up to the mountain Orahar, right? And he took off the clothing. Moses told him, take off your coat, put it on his son, he put everything on his son. Then by then it was established that from this son will come out all the high priest. For a while they lost it. Oh, well, who was the son of Elazar? Pinchas. Pinchas with the whole story with what's her name, Zimri, and then he became high priest. And Pinchas was the high priest until what happened? Till it was a time in Israel. You know, there is a story in the book of Joshua, Pelegesh Begiva, about a woman who was raped, and they cut her off into pieces and sent her to whole Israel. Benjamin, tribe of Benjamin, yeah. And it was a big war. There is a book, I mentioned it a few times, it's called a book, it's called Tonot Velio. The teachings of Elijah to a rabbi in the Talmud. In this book it's written, then why the whole war took place? Because Pinchas was not going around from city to city to teach Torah. You know what happened? When the Jews were in the desert, everybody was together. They were all in one place. It was beautiful, life was good. Then they came to Israel, they spread all over. Was not rabbis everywhere? Who was the job to have rabbis? Who were supposed to be the rabbis?
Levites.
The Kohens and the Levites. You know, the Kohens of the Levites, that's what we're going to learn in this Haftorah. How much of a Kohen and a Levi had an opportunity to serve in the temple? How often? There were 24 groups. King David established 24 groups of Kohens and Levites. Every group served in the temple a week. That means if you have 24 groups, how many weeks do you have a year? 2 weeks a year, right? From this group alone, the group, let's say, what, 300 Kohens, they divided them per days. That every Kohen had 1 day a chance, 2 days a chance in the temple. In these 2 days, it was a raffle. There is 100 coins. We need only 30. What are you going to do? They used to raffle. They used to, in the beginning, it was a race. The one who runs up the altar outside and once a coin stopped another coin. It was freilach. But they changed it to a raffle. It shows you that even if you're in the temple, your Yetzirah goes with you to the temple. Your evil inclination goes with you. You don't leave him alone. He's joining you in every journey. Then you're talking about in a good day, 2 days a year you had a chance to be in the temple. What you did the rest of the year? What was your job? The job was to be teachers. There were 48 cities designated for Levites and Kohens around Israel. They were like educational centers. There were people who went to learn Torah. That was the job of the Kohen.
So they taught oral Torah as well?
Sure, they were supposed to teach oral Torah, yes. Then Pinchas did not live up to his potential. That Elijah the prophet says that the whole 70,000 people died in the war between Benjamin and the other tribes. It was a civil war between Jewish brothers. He said he all blamed on Pinchas, who didn't go around in the cities and teach Torah. The Rebbe once told it to one of the Chabad rabbis in Israel. He told them, you see, he pointed on the book in his room, was all the books. He says, in this book it's written that if the rabbi doesn't go and pick up his like fold, he used to go along coats, fold up his coat, belt yourself with an iron belt, and go from place to place and teach Torah. That means to say the rabbis cannot wait for Tuesday 8 o'clock that people should come to them. They have to go out and reach out to the Jews who don't know they have to come and to teach them Torah. that I point you, all of you, to be my messengers.
We're taking the show on the road.
Exactly. Now, Pinchas lost it for a little, because of this. Pinchas was not the next priest was not from Pinchas' family, but later it went back to Pinchas.
I was going to ask, since you were mentioning Pinchas and Eliyahu, isn't there a midrash that Pinchas?
Pinchas is
did-
Eliyahu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eliyahu is a reincarnation of Pinchas. The spirit, the neshama of Pinchas is Eliyahu, yeah.
Isn't there also a midrash that he didn't die? That he?
Elijah.
Yeah.
Not Pinchas.
Pinchas, okay. So
Elijah.
Eliyahu, yes.
Actually,
but-
biblical that he didn't die.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really, it's interesting. We say
So it's not that Pinchas became Eliyahu over the years, it's that he
No.
was reincarnated.
is reincarnated. Elijah is a reincarnation of Pinchas. Really, it should be Elijah is Pinchas. The way it's written is Pinchas is Elijah. It's a strange thing about it. But yes, there is a connection there, absolutely. And Elijah was actually going around and told people that they're doing wrong, but he did it in a little angry way. He was a little harsh. And that's why he used to come to every breeze and this to smile to every Jew, because he was a little on the harsher side. He was like a Beit Shammai type of guy. Now we can go to learn, now that we know who is Tzadok, and they were the people who were loyal to God. Now we'll start to read the Haftorah. On page 1173.
15.
Yes, please.
But the Levitical priest, the son of Tzadok, who went the charge of my sanctuary when the children of Israel went astray from me, they shall come near to me to minister to me.
Okay, let's stop right here. He says the children of the son of Tzadok, who they kept the children of Israel. When the rest of the children of Israel left me, they stayed loyal to me. They continue.
And they shall stand before me to offer to me the fat and the blood, say God the Lord. They shall enter my sanctuary and come to my table to minister to me, and they shall keep my charge.
They should come to my table. What's the table was doing in the temple? What was the job of the table? Showbread. Which side of the table? Which side of the temple was the table? Was inside the sanctuary? Was three things, right? The menorah, the table, and the altar that you offer incense on it. Mm-hmm. Which side was the table? Which side was the menorah?
You talking about left, right, north, south?
There's no left, right, north, south. There is north, south, right, east and west.
It was east, I think.
North.
North, right? The table was in the north. Then that's why anybody who wants to become rich should go to the north, so to speak, the Talmud says, because the table was in the north. The job of the table was to bring everything in the temple was representing something. The table of bread was to bring finance success, parnasa, to the Jews. Then says, who can go to my table? Who can reach to the table? Who can become rich and not go wrong? The children of Tzadok, because they were so dedicated, they will not go the wrong way. Sometimes when a person is successful, he goes astray. The children of Tzadok, they can go in the right way, nothing will happen to them. Now it says in number 17, when they enter,
The gates of the inner court, they shall wear linen garments.
linen garments. Why linen?
Comfortable.
Plant.
Comfortable. Why not wool?
Itchy.
You're very practical, I
From an
must say.
animal. Wool's animal and linen's plant. Right?
Yes. Wool is animal and linen is plant. So, what is the color of linen, by the way? Anybody knows?
Off-white,
Off-white. And wool?
whiter.
Whiter. Then we have a problem here. Linen, what does the priest used to wear? What was the clothing?
White.
Robe?
But made of what? Linen or wool? Only linen?
No.
Both.
They had a combination of both. But the high priest, when he used to enter the Holy of Holies, only linen. Pure linen. Pishtim. Why? It's written in Kabbalah that linen represents chesed. and wall represents Gvura, then usually the Kohens have a combination of Chesed and Gvura. It's a whole thing in Hebrew. Sheish is I think linen. In any case, Chesed and Gvura. Why the Kohens need Chesed? It was mainly linen, a little bit of wall. Why you need a little bit of Gvura? A little bit of what's Gvura? Gvura is judgment. Chesed is kindness, right? Why we need a little bit of judgment? What do you think?
To temper the kindness.
The world is a balance.
Justice and mercy.
God does both. We have to do both.
Okay, we know where we see it
Justice
a little
and
bit.
compassion.
Oh, it's in general there is a concept of giving to the evil side something. If you ignore the evil side, they will eventually jump on you. Even you have to. Even in politics, they pay off the other side a little bit to keep them quiet. You understand what I'm saying? If you go, what happens? When is there? What happens in Washington today? You cannot accomplish anything. Why? Because when you don't give the other side something, you get nothing. The same thing is where we see it in Judaism. This concept.
Azazel.
Oh, that's what he taught me 2 weeks ago. He bought me a Ramban. Later I saw it in many places. We have on Yom Kippur, we have 2 goats, right? One goat to God, one goat to Azazel. Well, we need a goat for Azazel. Where is Azazel? God knows where. You throw him off the cliff. It's giving the other side something. Giving klippe something. It's called in Hebrew a yenika. Yenika means a place for them to soak something, to get something also. It cannot be perfect holy. When Moshiach will come, it will be perfect holy. But now, there is always the other side.
The way to get rid of the sins. Goes to the desert and
But
gives
why you need to take the ghost to the desert to get off of the sin? Why not in the temple is the place to atone for the sins? It's kind of giving the other side
There's
an
a dualism there, though, right?
That's what I'm saying.
It's a dualism.
You see, it's dangerous when we go with this line because you can
Right.
take it a little. Yeah, but
Because Hashem has to be perfect. You can't attribute
that in the
evil
world
to
of Hashem. No. Evil comes from Hashem too. That's why it's dangerous, this thing. Evil comes. If there is something who is not connected to Hashem, means God is not God. If there is any identity
Right.
who is on its own, then we have a problem. Must be that this is from God too. But in the world of God, there is where God is revealed, and where God is completely unseen. That the evil kind of things covers completely the sight of God, the light of God. In any case, when Moshiach will come, he speaks about the Kohens will wear only linen because they don't have a need. There is no evil. The evil will be eradicated from the face of the earth, right? It's written when Moshiach will come, there will not be any more evil. Then at that time, we can only wear linen. That's, by the way, is an explanation. How you bury somebody? What do you dress him? Linen. Because he needs chesed. He needs chesed. He needs only kindness. That's why people put under that with suits and this. He needs chesed. He needs linen. That's all like that.
Rabbi, I thought that you couldn't wear garments made of that blend, the chok, whatever.
Yeah, shatnez, very good. But in the temple it was allowed. Very good, yeah. But in certain cases it was allowed. Inside the temple, that's why the Kohen, right after he couldn't leave the temple with this because he would disobey the law. Only in the temple, only when he serves.
Is there a difference between evil and impurity? Impurity. So that's what it says also. God will remove the impurity from the earth or the world.
Ruach HaTumah Aver Min Haaretz,
Evil,
yeah.
so
It's the same thing. It's all
I
the
like
same.
the word impurity, I think, better.
Oh, yeah. Listen, if you like the word impurity, you can put it in your book. I mean, I'm not against it, but it's the same idea. There is many levels. I mean, if there is, in today's world, if there is a face, there is a back. You understand? Everything is another side. Today, good and bad is a combination. I always tell people.
Two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, if Berkowitz came and said I had a good ear, what does this mean?
Yeah.
If the hospital said a good ear, if the lawyer had a good ear, what does this mean? I mean, almost every job, the good and bad are intertwined. But when Moshiach will come, will be pure good, be no evil whatsoever, be good for the sake of good.
Well, that's not necessarily Maimonides' view, right? It's not Maimonides' view.
Otherwise, what Maimonides says?
The world will be the same.
Really, tell me. I know that. I know.
It'll be
First of all,
2 stages, right?
one second.
Okay.
It will be the second stage, will be resurrection of the dead. Is this a normal world?
Supernatural. Yeah.
I'm asking you, is this a normal world?
Resurrection is supernatural.
That even Maimonides agrees that in the final stage of the coming of Mashiach, it's not going to be a normal world, right? The question is when it's going to start. First of all, Maimonides says like it's be a normal world, will just be peace in the world. Really, very normal. It's bigger, it's easier to resurrect people from the dead than to bring peace. If you think about it, it's easier to revive dead than make peace. Peace in the world? Two people cannot get along. People cannot get along with themselves. You want them to be peace in the world. Yeah, I know that's what my mind is, but the accepted opinion is like Nachmanides when it comes to this issue. And then it's going to be Maimonides, what he's saying is, he says it doesn't have to be a miracle right away. It could be naturally. But he didn't outlaw the idea that cannot be. You understand what I'm saying? He says we don't know how it's going to be, right? Maimonides says we don't know how it's going to be when it's going to be. He says it doesn't have to be miracles. That's only what he says. It's not a must, but he doesn't say it cannot be. Nachmanides says it's going to be a miraculous way. But no matter what, the final stage, resurrection of the dead is for sure not a normal thing. In any case, we'll go back to the text. Yeah, continue. They shall have, I think we are number 18, right?
Oh, 18. Okay. They shall have linen turbans on their heads and linen breeches on their loins. They shall not gird themselves with anything that causes sweat.
Oh, cannot have any sweat. That's one of the reasons for no wool. Wool makes you sweat. Linen is light. See, Corey was right. No sweat. The other opinion says that we should not gird themselves. The girdle should not be. You should not put on the belt. You know, for prayers we put on a belt. Hasidic Jews, the belt should not. The Kohens, it comes from the Kohens. They used to have a belt. The belt should not be too high where you're sweating or too low where you're sweating. It should be right in between. That's what the meaning is. It's two meanings to this line. One is you shouldn't wear any wool because wool makes you sweat. The other one, you shouldn't put on the belt in a part of your body where you sweat. Okay. Continue.
When they go out into the outer court, even into the outer court to the people, they shall take off the clothes in which they minister and place them in the holy chambers, and they shall put on other clothes, lest they consecrate the people through contact with their clothing.
He said if they go out with their clothing, they will touch other people and they become impure. It's complicated. They leave the clothing at the temple and then they go out. Okay, Corey, continue.
They must not shave their heads, nor let their hair grow long.
Oh, they will not shave their head, but not too long. Not shave their heads is understood. Why not? Why not shave their heads?
That's what a lot of the pagans did.
The pagans used to do it. A karachat, you know, what the people do now, the skinhead type of thing, used to be a way of idol worshipping. Why not have long hair?
Nazarite.
You want to mix them up.
Nazarite had long hair.
You want to think that they're girls.
Think that the girls, you are not afraid of it. Why not long hair? What do you think? Long nails is a... You ever saw religious Jews with long nails? Long hair? Why not? Because long hair, what is the easiest part to cut in your body? To cut? Nails. Yeah? What does this mean? The most dead part of your body is your ears and your nails. Why when we go out from a cemetery or we come back from a funeral, we wash the hand? Because you're coming to a place with the impurity, the spirit of death is there. Where is it this attaching to you? In the nails. And the most dead part of you. That's why, because again, giving the moment you have long nails or long ears, you're giving the yenika, you're giving the impurities a place to hold on to. Therefore, you don't have long hair and you don't have long nails.
And we just thought they didn't like hippies.
But what if, but how does that,
With a
with
beard.
the Nazarites?
With the Nazarite is a different life of level of holiness that he sanctified his life, and is he taking a risk? Judaism never loved the Nazarite. That if somebody wants to become a holy, you give him the opportunity, but it's not something that is encouraged. The other question is, what's with the beard?
Right.
The rabbis with long beards. Oh yeah, they're so long.
That says someplace you won't clip and cut the edges
You're
off.
right. It's written in this parsha that you should, in Parshat Emor, it's written, you shouldn't shave your beard because the beard is chesed. The beard is the so to speak, from the face, reflecting the face of God. That the beard represents the 13 attributes of mercy. If somebody wants to have success in business, he should grow a beard. I knew a guy, a very famous businessman in California. Business went bad. I told him he should grow a beard. He grew a beard, and I think things got a little better there. Then other story for a guy who his daughter got sick and the whole thing, and the Rebbe told him he should grow his beard. He should bring new blessings. It's a new channel of blessing. In any case, I'm not in the campaign to encourage you to grow beards, but I'm just telling you. Then they shouldn't have long hair, but they shouldn't shave their head. The two sides. What should they do?
No priest may drink wine when he enters the inner court.
Mm-hmm.
They shall not marry a widow or a divorced woman, only a virgin of the seed of the house of Israel or a widow of a priest.
Oh, that's an interesting thing. Here is a little different what's written in the Bible. What's written in the Bible? A regular priest cannot marry a divorced woman, but he can marry a widow. Only a high priest cannot marry a widow. Here it's written that there is all many explanations what it means, and now, but we'll not get into it, how you learn this, but that's what is written here. Now comes...
So why are the rules different for the third temple?
Yeah. That's why they wanted... It was a point they didn't want Ezekiel to include it in the Bible, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Until came, what his name? Hananiah Ben was a guy. One of the rabbis said that he will try. They put him in an attic, and he explained everything in the book of Ezekiel. Well, because they wanted to cancel the book of Ezekiel because there are things in the book of Ezekiel that looks like that, and they are contradicting the Bible, but they are not. It's how you translate it.
Why in the second temple didn't they follow Ezekiel's?
The second temple was,
Because they didn't know there would be a third temple at that time, right? Yeah.
Why I think it's very hard to understand what Ezekiel means exactly. That's why. To build a temple according to Ezekiel would be very hard. And it was too contradicting probably to the laws in the Bible and the laws the way the first temple was created. Therefore they did things like with Ezekiel, but not only. That's what my mind decides. But here comes the real job of the Kohens. What's the real job of the Kohens? We spoke before. Number 23. 1175, number 23.
And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and the common, and show them how to discern between the unclean and the clean.
They should teach Ben Kodesh Lechol. They should teach the Jews what is holy and what is not holy. In the Bible, when you read the book of Leviticus, what is the job of the Kohens? To go to the temple, to serve in the temple. You don't hear what's the other job. Here, the prophets, they spelled it out big time, what is expected of the Kohens. Where is one place in the Bible, in the 5 books of Moses, that it says what's the job of the Levites? Where is it? There's one place it does right.
Is Judges or whatever?
Leviticus.
No, yeah.
No, what in Leviticus? What?
That would be in general.
No, you're too general. No, it's actually in Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy 17 is the Judges, right?
Judges, וללוי אומר, page 1037. Number 8. To Levi. Go ahead. Want to read?
To Levi, he said, your Urim and Thummim belong to your pious one.
Don't worry, continue. Continue.
You tested him at Massa and contended with him at the waters of dispute.
Continue. Will not explain that because
He
it's
was
not
the
a
one
point.
who said of his father and mother, I do not see them, not recognizing brother or child. They thus kept your word and safeguarded your covenant.
Okay, now number 10. That's the important one. They shall
They shall therefore teach your law to Jacob and your Torah
to
to
Israel.
Israel.
They should teach the law to Jacob and the Torah to Israel.
Right.
That's the only clear place, if I recall. I mean, I might be wrong. I was wrong about many things, and just last week I was wrong about something. I told you that the Shabbos is a sign. It's written in the Haftorah. It's written actually in the book of Exodus. Obviously, I can make many more mistakes.
We won't tell Marion, don't worry.
What do you mean a sign?
Huh?
What do you mean it's written?
Remember we spoke
What did
about
you
it.
say?
Don't worry about it.
Sermon.
And then huh?
That was part of your
Oh,
sermon.
yeah. Was it part of
No,
your sermon?
no. It was on Tuesday night. I said it.
Oh,
It's
so
a
last
sign.
Tuesday, I was gonna say, I know I
Yeah.
heard it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Last Tuesday, I'm saying. I thought it's only the Haftorah. It's written really. Later I checked it. It's written right here in the book of Exodus. Then here he says that to teach the children the Torah. But it's the only place it's written clearly. Also not so clear. It's like in the Haftorah, Ezekiel makes it very clear. The job that Ami Yoru, they teach my people the difference between holy and mundane, between pure and impure, they should teach them. And then he continues. Continue. In controversy, number 24.
Oh, we're
We are going back to
yeah,
1175, yes.
In a controversy, they shall act as judges, and they shall judge it according to my ordinances. They shall observe my laws and my statutes in all my appointed times, and they shall maintain the holiness of my Sabbaths.
That he speaks about judging, the right judges. They should teach my laws and my statutes. They should sanctify protect my holidays and sanctify my Shabbat. And there is one more place, at least I can recall one, the Haftorah of Kisiftei Kohen. Oh, here it is. I found it. Thank God. 1075. It's from the book of Micha, I think, Malachi. The prophet Malachi speaks about the last line in the Haftorah. He speaks about the priest.
The priest's lips should keep knowledge, and men should seek the Torah from his mouth, for he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
You hear? The priest lips should keep knowledge, and everybody, men should seek the Torah from his mouth, from the mouth of the priest. For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts. Tell me, what happened?
What happened?
The priest blew it.
Here's a Kohen.
Yeah.
Here's a Levi. You're a Kohen, a Levi? Nothing? Maybe next week.
Maybe next life.
They obviously didn't
Whatever.
follow the laws.
Did somebody ask me, somebody Friday tells me, I have a question. I said, what's the question? He said, what happened to the priest? How the rabbis came around? The priest blew it. What means they blew it? What they did? They created an elite group.
Yeah, they got.
They were teaching Torah only to their own. Their own people. A Kohen taught his son and his cousins. The rest of the Jews, not my problem.
They're very undemocratic.
Democrat, they didn't teach.
Well,
They were lazy.
But weren't
Yeah,
they
but
also
it was-
just taking a lot of things like?
Taking is one thing, but they didn't teach. Talking about the main job to go around and teach Torah, the Kohens didn't fulfill their job. Actually, Ezra the priest in the beginning of the Second Temple was a Kohen who was teaching Torah, but later it became the rabbis. You see, to be a Kohen, your father has to be a Kohen. To be a Levi, your father has to be a Levi. To be a rabbi, your father has to be a nothing. You can even have no father from our point of view.
But the everything was more accessible to more people later on. I mean, you know, it was.
That's what I'm saying. The rabbis, just Jewish people, became teachers, leaders. They learned Torah, And they took upon themselves the job of the Kohens because the Kohens didn't do it.
So what's their authority to do it then? If the Bible gives the authority to the Levim,
How is a regular Jew allowed to teach Torah? I'll tell you. First of all, it's
Somebody's got to do it.
in Judaism, you're right. First of all, that's from the practical point of view. We have to learn Torah. If you will not do it, I'll do it. If you will not do it, they will do it. No such thing as. Number one, the obligation is, where is the obligation to teach Torah? Where is it?
the parents in Deuteronomy 6.
Deuteronomy
You'll teach
6.
it to your children, and when
in
you walk
Shema.
by the way, and when
It's in
you
Shema.
Wherever that is, I don't know.
Deuteronomy
It's in the Torah.
6, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know where.
There is in the Shema, there is written 2 paragraphs of the Shema, right? First paragraph of the Shema is written, Vishinantam levanecha, teach it to your children. Why is it written again in the second paragraph? In Deuteronomy what is the second paragraph?
Chapter 6.
No, that's the first paragraph.
Okay.
Shema, something.
Second
11.
paragraph is in
11.
11, I think. Why it's again? V'limadetem mois omes b'neichem. You should teach it in plural. The first paragraph is a
Different
singular.
tense, yeah.
The second paragraph is plural. To teach it to all children, not just to your own children. That's written in the second paragraph of Shema. That we have all an obligation to teach Torah. We didn't get permission from the Kohens. The Kohens got the obligation, got the privilege to be empowered by God to teach the rest of the Jewish people. If they failed, if they blew it, have a nice day. We need to continue to teach Torah. The Talmud says, Mamzer Talmid Chochem Kodem LeKohen Gadol Am Haaretz. You know what a mamzer is?
Yes.
A mamzer, right?
Yes.
A mamzer who is a scholar comes before a high priest who is an ignorant. What does this mean? Bottom line, who will teach Torah in this place? Who is going to give over Judaism to the next generation? A Kohen Gadol, he might wear the nice clothing, and he's from the very nice family, and his great grandfather was Aaron, all nice and fine and cute and beautiful. But we need the next. Who is the next rabbi? That's what we want to know. Who is going to teach Torah to the next generation? It's not who is the next rabbi. Who will teach Torah to the next generation? That's what counts.
So the rabbis developed to fulfill this gap, this need. Rabbi Akiva. This goes way back that they were rabbis.
Rabbi Akiva, yeah, but Rabbi
But when-
Akiva was
but when-
after the destruction of the second temple.
But when did this?
In the
when-
middle of the
when did-
second
so
temple.
when did the rabbinical movement
Started
When was it
in the
generated?
middle of the second temple.
Right.
When started Tanaim, Hillel and Shammai, they were in the middle of the
Right,
second
right,
temple.
right.
Right there.
What's
A little
difference
after
between the sages?
Chonia Me'agel, huh?
What's the difference between the sages, like in Pirkei Avot, and the rabbis? Are they the same?
The same thing.
Same thing.
The sages, they were the early rabbis, if you want.
But with the rabbis, whoever became knowledgeable could teach.
Anybody
Before, you had to be descended.
of the Kohen,
The
so to speak.
Kohanes.
Yeah,
So
if you
it
wanted
was
to be
that-
authority, it switched, no?
It's a
That's the whole
totally
point,
different-
because they didn't do
Right.
the job, other Jews picked up their responsibility.
But if they would have done the job, you wouldn't have had so many troubles with the weaknesses of the.
And because they didn't do the job, they got into politics and they were fighting about the priesthood and they bought it for money, and it was Torah's from the old Kohen business.
Right, but somehow the knowledge, the literature that existed had to have become more accessible
For
to
regular
more
people.
to more people in general.
Could be. You have a point.
I
Could
mean-
be. It was when the Torah was translated to Greek. Maybe when they started to write down more things. It's like periods of time. The whole time of sages with such great rabbis. It's like we don't have this level of greatness today in the world. You understand? There is always like the Hasidic movement came 200 years ago, 250 years ago, became Hasidic rabbis with holy people who made miracles. It was a whole period of time. Now, there is no rabbis anymore, no real big rabbis. There's many Hasidim, but not rabbis.
Well, but there was the Rebbe, but that's only a
The
short.
Rebbe is
but
the
that's only a
last
short-
one of all this dynasty from the Baal Shem Tov. That's it.
There's no line after the Rebbe?
No, we're still looking for her. You want the job?
I don't think I'm qualified.
You are Kohen.
Well, that was the difference
Mr.
between
Grunstein,
teaching,
I-
right? The what's it called, Mesigim, the Mesagdim?
It's Nagdim,
They didn't
yeah.
really want to teach the rest
You're
of
right.
the people.
It was even these two attitudes was always in the Jewish people. Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Bet Shammai said we will teach only the elite. Beit Hillel says we'll teach everybody. Rabbi Gamliel was removed from after Bet Shammai and Beit Hillel. Rabbi Gamliel was removed from his leader, from his position. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah opened the yeshiva. 800 benches were filled with this. It was always this fight between teaching Torah to everyone and cheapening the Torah, so to speak, or keeping it to an elite group. It's not only the Kohanim. Between the world of the rabbis was always this fight. The rabbi's view: teach Torah to everyone, go out everywhere, teach them. Oh no, we can't teach Torah to this guy. He's not holy enough.
But that's the stuff today too. Look at the Chabad.
Chabad is Beis Hillel. Chabad is all the way to the beginning. Teach Torah to every Jew, absolutely. Like Hillel the Older. Cannot wait.
And yet there are factions of Judaism that say, look what they're doing.
Absolutely. They are from Bet Shammai. They are the Kohens, the angry Kohens.
Sorry.
They are good Kohens too. You're from the Tzadok family.
I have no idea where I'm from. I should be so lucky.
When there was a printing press, after you
Sure.
could print, then that changed the world.
And the
Everyone could read it. You didn't need a
You're right.
tzaddik or anything else. I mean, if you had the desire
You
and
brought the
the
Germans,
will.
Still do
you brought
for
the
a
Germans
while.
back in the
Right.
day.
And today,
Same
it's
thing.
the internet. The internet teaches Torah to everyone.
Sure.
You go on the internet, you can learn Torah all your life without never meeting a rabbi. You can have so many rabbis on the internet, too many. You learn
But back
Torah.
then, you could only stand in the marketplace when someone read a scroll. to
You're
you.
right.
That
You're right.
was it.
You know, not many of the halachic rabbis. I mean, then the ones in Chabad, but that other,
There's
one
plen-
elite level above.
There is plenty on the internet, I'm telling you.
Really?
Plenty of
But
rabbis.
you can't find a
Plenty.
lot of.
I can find them. Plenty.
I'll talk to you about it.
And there are more, also a lot of it is in Hebrew, not
What,
so
you
much in
don't have an
English.
iPhone?
Okay, let's continue. We have number 25, I think.
Oh, it's in Hebrew.
They shall not.
They shall not defile themselves by going near a dead person, except for a father, a mother, a son, or a daughter, or a brother, or an unmarried sister, for whom they may defile themselves. After-
Why there is exception to the rules? If you cannot defile, you cannot defile. Why defile for your family? Because your family is a part of you. It's a part of the same soul.
Back
Mm-hmm.
to,
Okay, we'll continue.
After he is cleansed, they shall count for him 7 days. On the day that he goes into the sanctuary, into the inner court, to minister in the sanctuary, he shall offer his sin offering, says God the Lord.
Okay, continue.
This shall be their inheritance. I am their inheritance, and you shall give them no possession in Israel. I am their possession.
I am the possession. The Kohen and the Levi did not have a possession. God is their possession. The goal was, if they don't have a possession, they don't have a field to work for, they are not farmers, they will go around and teach Torah. That was purposely made. Go ahead.
They shall eat the meal offering, the sin offering, and the guilt offering, and every devoted thing in Israel shall be theirs. The first of all the first fruits, and every heave offering of all your offerings shall belong to the priests. You shall also give the priest the first of your dough, so that he may cause a blessing to rest on your house.
If you give the priest the dough, you will have a blessing in your house. You know, people, the ideas of charity. You say, I'll give charity. You give charity, you'll have more blessing in your house. The more you give, the more you'll have. And if you want to ask somebody who said it was a very famous Jew in Cleveland. His name was Irving Stone. And he said, the more you give, the more you get. Continue. The priest.
The priest shall not eat of anything that dies of itself or is torn, whether it is bird or beast.
Very good. Shkoyach, my friend.